I will either give you $1 million today, or I'll give you 1 penny today. But that penny is going to double in value every single day for a month, and I give you 10 seconds to choose which are you going to select. Now you're probably going to sit there and probably try to work out the math pretty quickly about that penny. Okay, 1 cent, 2 cents, 4 cents, 8, 16, 32. It's not really growing that fast. You only have 10 seconds to make a decision. You're probably going to choose that $1 million. That's what most people will do. Well, here's the thing. At the end of that month, at the end of that 31 days, the penny that doubles every single day, it's grown to over $10.7 million. When you hear that, it's almost mind-blowing because you think, how could that possibly happen? I already went through 5, 6, 7, 8 days and I was up to like 64 cents. How could that grow to $10.7 million? Well, that's the power of compound interest. In fact, if you look at that whole month of the journey from 1 penny to $10.7 million, you're at about $164 halfway through. So even if you were able to make it to day 15 of that month, you're still thinking, why did I choose this penny when I could have chosen that $1 million? That's how compound interest or compound growth works. So much of the growth doesn't happen on the front end, it happens on the back end. So as an investor, as you're investing money and putting money to work for you, understand as you're getting started, even in the middle of the journey, you're probably not gonna feel like there's that much money for you. Where the real growth happens, where the real magic happens is on the back end. But even though it happens on the back end, it requires doing a lot of work on the front end in order to realize the benefits of that magic. Now, let's come back to reality for a second. There's not an investment in the world that actually doubles in value every single day. If there was, we could do a month's worth of investing and probably be set for life. The reality is that investment doesn't exist, so what we can do is let's choose a very simple investment that does exist and use that as our baseline. So if we want to use a more realistic example here, let's look at the long-term return on the S&P 500, which is about 10% per year as we look over multiple decades. So 10% per year is realistic, and let's now go to point number 2 to see how the power of that works. Well, tip number 2 to being a better long-term investor is understanding the rule of 72. The rule of 72 is this. It says if you want to understand how long it actually takes to double your money, because it's probably not going to happen every single day like that penny example, but if you want to understand how long it actually takes to double your money, take 72, divide it by the growth rate you can expect, and the result is how many years it will take you to double your money. So for example, if I could get the S&P 500 and I can grow by 10% per year on average over time, what that's telling me is it will take about 7.2 years for me to double my money. So 72 divided by 10 equals 7.2. As crazy as that sounds, that rule is how it works. Take 72 divided by any interest rate, and you're gonna more or less get the number of years it takes to double your money. So if we look at a rate of 5% instead, and go ahead and use your financial calculator to check the math on this, but if you get 5% instead, we'll divide 72 by 5, and what you'll see is it's gonna take 14.4 years to double your money in that case. So why is this even relevant? Well, let's assume you're an investor and you've got 29 years to grow your money. Kind of an odd year, but I'm gonna show you why I chose that specifically for this example. Now, if we go back to those 2 examples of what if you grow your portfolio by 10% per year versus what if you grow your portfolio by 5% per year? Well, on the one hand, you're gonna double your money every 7.2 years or so. And on the other, you're gonna double your money every 14.4 years or so. So where does 29 years come in? Well, let's assume that you double your money every 7.2 years. So that first period, 7.2 years, you double your money. Then you have another 7.2 years, which brings you to 14.4 total, you double again. Then another 7.2, which brings you to 21.6. And then finally another 7.2 years, which brings you to 28.8. So not quite 29 years, but what you've effectively had over the course of that time period is 4 doublings of your money if you grow at 10% per year. Now here's the cool thing. When you look at that, it's not, okay, double, so 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. It's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So you've effectively grown your money by 16 times over that 29-year period. So if you have $100,000 at the beginning of that time period and you don't add a dime to it, well, that $100,000, it's gonna grow to $1.6 million at the end of that 29-year period. Now compare that to the person growing at 5% per year. Again, it takes them 14.4 years to double their money. They only have 2 of those doublings that they can fit in a 29-year time period. So when you look at that, they can double once and then double twice. So 2 times 2, they've grown their money by 4 times. So if you take $100,000 at the beginning of that time period and you double it and then double it again, you have $400,000 at the end of that. This is really powerful to understand because when you look at 10% versus 5% growth, well, maybe it doesn't seem like that different. You might think, okay, I'll get double my money with 10% versus 5%. When you understand the power of 72, when you understand the power of doubling and compounding, what you see is growing at 10% per year over this time period. It gives you 1.6 million versus growing at 5% over this time period, giving you 400,000. You've more than quadrupled your money by no effort of your own, but just by getting that better long-term growth rate on your dollars. Once again, I'm James Knoll, founder of Root Financial, and if you're interested in seeing how we help our clients at Root Financial get the most out of life with their money, be sure to visit us at www.rootfinancialpartners.com.